so far in my quest to solve all of the tiniest mysteries spread throughout the Captain Underpants cartoon, I have thoroughly dissected the characters Mr. Cup and Melvin Sneedley, my two favorite characters. But this character is my best boy for a reason I must not overthink. I'm getting sweaty. Let's cut to chase, shall we? Melvin Borg. His debut in the next to last episode of the first season was a twist that even I did not see coming, and is a huge part of why I adore the writing of this show so much. Honestly, I should have seen it coming. All the clues were dangling right in front of me, and yet it just went over my small brain. Speaking of brains, Melvin Borg's brain is much different than Melvin's. So much, I canonically consider him a separate character of his own. An alternate universe version of Melvin, if you will, since Melvin has consciously decided to become a different character to not become Melvin Borg. His brain is also a bit different in other ways. In the last video, I diagnosed Melvin with Asperger's syndrome, which actually ASD1. And I most definitely believe Melvin Borg shares this diagnosis. But there's quite a few small differences between him and Melvin. Let me explain. Most notably, he's a lot more compulsive and driven by emotions than Melvin. Multiple times, he and Melvin had to suffer the consequences of his half-baked ideas, including the invention of bees. Well, actually bee but hybrids, which later caused him to rat, and required the robotic side of Melvin Borg to be reformed in a robotic way. We can assume the rat completely disabled the right side of his body, as well as the right side of his brain. Similar to the Inspector Gadget or Gizmo Duck cartoons, his brain is basically a motherboard for the computer of his robot body, an organic battery for his inorganic functions, if you will. If the writers are keeping in mind that the right brain stereotypically controls logic and reason more strongly, meaning that his robotic side is now controlling their functions, this single-handedly explains the more compulsive nature of Melvin Borg. But it does take a bit of explaining. Anyone familiar with robotics or technology in general has heard of algorithms. Now, I can take this chance to complain about some certain online algorithms, especially on this website. But I don't really feel like it. Why don't you ask me later? Anyway, there are different types of algorithms, and if you want to learn more, you can watch Technocracy from Mr. Enter to learn more, but for now I want to focus on learning algorithms. They're exactly what they sound like, and they are a type of algorithm that is always learning new information. In light of this, in watching the show, it seems kind of like Melvin Borg functions exactly like a learning algorithm. Throwing aside ideas at the wall and seeing if they stick. This is the opposite of Melvin's technique, which is intensely examining a situation before jumping into things. Just to bring up the Myers-Briggs personality test again, Melvin would be more of an INTJ, while Melvin Borg is more of an ENTP, I think. And if you want to take this personality test, I'm putting a link in the description. I am an INTP myself, as I mentioned in the last 2 videos, I think. Anyways, another example of Melvin Borg's half-brain antics is his lack of humanity. This was the biggest thing that made him and Melvin fundamentally different. Melvin Borg was willing to betray George and Harold, while Melvin was not, quoting, "I am not a monster." Actually, he said, "I am not a monster" in the final episode of season 2, actually. And in the last episode, or maybe it was the next to last episode of season 3, he also states very clearly that he is only human, to George's surprise, and I think that further proves my point. And even though Melvin might be selfish, easily triggered, and hyper-focused on his own goals, deep down, he adores George and Harold, especially George, and would never betray him so coldly as Melvinborg did. But this is getting a little boring, so it's about time for some diagnosis. Let's see. He's definitely psychopathic, that's without a doubt. Possible PTSD from the car crash, and, maybe killing George and Harold when he was like 9. He has a narcissistic personality, check. Analyzed character. We know he's bitter over not making it into Elite 90 Academy. Secretly, he enjoys country music, and his appearance, as far as that goes, he literally wears the same outfit as his younger self, it's just more his size. And in conclusion, Melvin Borg shares the diagnosis with Melvin, with the one clear exception that he is an alternate timeline version of him, and uses a learning algorithm to make up for his disability on the right side of his brain, as well as dealing with multiple traumas. Also, he's bloody hot.